In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the basics of using the Adobe PhoneGap Apache Cordova online build utility to create a native app from our web application. This is the Adobe PhoneGap webpage, phonegap.com. It turns out that Adobe has a proprietary version of this called PhoneGap, but there's an open source version called Cordova that the Apache Foundation does. In order to use this, you're going to have to create an account. The base account is free. You can create one private app. You can create as many public apps as you want. They have to be hosted in a GitHub. The private app does not have to be hosted. You can upload it as a zip archive of files. And that seems to be the best way to use the online build. There's a way to submit your project within Dreamweaver, but I've noticed that it's kind of buggy. Dreamweaver will come back with a false message saying that it's still compiling the app, but when you go to the site, it's actually finished. Also, there's a much more elaborate way to build these with the Cordova system online. And you have to basically have Node.js, use that to install Cordova Build, and you have to have at least one of the platform development environments. So for instance, on Windows, I might have the Android or the Windows Phone. I've had quite a bit of trouble getting that to work correctly. It's a bunch of different technologies. You have to have the Node.js, you have to have Ant, and so I haven't been able to get that to work. Maybe because I'm running Windows on the Mac and it's not quite the same. Okay, let's go back into Dreamweaver here. I've got an application. This is Norse Hangman. And basically we're looking at the index.html. I started a new refactor of this to use jQuery mobile, but this is the simple version. It doesn't use any jQuery, it's straight JavaScript. The first thing to note is that you have to include the PhoneGap.js script, and I usually put this first and then my own scripts. Now, I'm not actually using that here, but I understand that it's required anyway. And later on, as you get more into this, instead of simply compiling your app, you can use the bridging library here in PhoneGap to access more of the capabilities of the remote platform, the mobile platform, which aren't normally available. So for instance, I can actually write JavaScript code that interacts with the file system of the device, which normally I can't do with regular JavaScript. Okay? Alright, so we're going to have to include that. So I have two JavaScript files here. One just sets up a huge set of Norse vocabulary. The other runs the Hangman game. We're not going to worry about that. Really, the details of this are how to do the Cordova. And then this is all going to go in a zip file, and it has to have a config XML file, and you can get the information for this on the site. So I pretty much just took theirs. And the only really significant thing I've added to this, which you have to find in the documentation, is how to do the icon. So the icon has to be called icon.png, and I went ahead and created an icon, and I used the directions for a medium-sized icon. When you do Android, you can supply the icon in 4 or 5 different sizes, and then it will automatically adjust depending on what the form factor of the device is. So I went with the medium, which worked the best. I think it was 48 by 48 pixels. And so I took the final image of the Hangman and used that to make the icon. Let's see what else is here. Okay, so again, mostly this is boilerplate. You have to have this all this XML. When you do the ID, you use the Android version of a class path to create a unique ID. So this is a reverse domain name. So tom.wolf.com, com.wolf.tom, and then this is the name of this application. Rotmother is the Norse word for hangman, vaguely. The version code is not normally here. It's here because that's an Android thing, and I'm going to be targeting the Android platform. And then the version uses the normal software type of version. So this is, the first primary release. There's the name of the app, Rop Mother Norse Hangman. Then a description, Norse vocabulary, learning hangman game. Notice the author node here. We have my homepage address and my email address and my name. I already talked about the icon. And then this is not normally here, but because I'm only developing for Android, it saves some time. By default, PhoneGap will try to compile your app for all 7 platforms that it supports. In order to do this for the Apple, you have to have a developer key, which I don't have. And you also need a key for Android, or it will be compiled in debug mode. And that doesn't seem to have any problem. It still runs on the device and you can get it and that. So one interesting thing about this is, let's go over to my index file here. At the bottom of the file I have the HTML5 badge, and because I didn't include that file in the application and it's just a link to it, I noticed that it doesn't actually work in the PhoneGap app, and so I have this little broken link here. So I could either go ahead and grab the badge image and put it here locally, or I could just remove this. And because it's playing locally now as a hybrid app, I don't really see a need to say that this is written with HTML5, because it's now a compiled binary. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And that means that I can redo my application here and show you how that works. Okay? So again, just a quick review. We need to include the PhoneGap JS library. That should come before your other JS libraries because you would use it in them. And then we have to have all of our files into a web archive. It's just a zip archive. And you have to have this config.xml, and PhoneGap needs that. So let me go ahead and save all here, and I'll go ahead and close Dreamweaver here, just close the files because I'm about to zip them up into the archive that I'm going to submit. Alright, so let me get into my file system. So here we are in Google Drive, and I actually have this in my Norse Web Projects working folder, and there's the Harap Mother data. There's the new jQuery mobile version I'm working on, I don't have yet, and then this is the working directory that I have the PhoneGap in. So you can see that I have these images for the Hangman game. There's the new icon that I just created, and then a background color image, the other stuff that I talked about. There's the config XML. So I can basically go here and right at this point make the zip archive. So I'll say send to compressed zip folder, and there it is, PhoneGap1.zip. Of course the 1 is just for this particular app. It doesn't mean anything to PhoneGap. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and leave this open but minimize it. I've already logged into PhoneGap. This is my project directory. Again, you can only have one private app at a time with the base membership. That's the unpaid one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and update the code. And so I will go ahead and choose the file, and that'll be the one that I just created, of course. So we'll go back to Google Drive, Norse Web Projects, Harap Mother. There's the PhoneGap 1.zip that I made. I'll open that. I'll upload it. Your application has updated and a build has been queued. Now that's kind of interesting. And if you go here to, let's see, settings. Okay, so you see, one thing I've noticed is it doesn't seem like it updates this, which is kind of similar to the bug in Dreamweaver, as a matter of fact. But notice that it just went ahead and rebuilt this. So now I have this QR code that I can use to get my application. I can't really show you that, but what I do is I use Google Goggles on my Android tablet to take a picture of that, and then it'll go ahead and install. I can also download it from here too. And where is that? Let's see. Oh, there you go to all debug. So that'll download the file. That's kind of weird. There's a different way of doing this that I missed. But anyhow, now the file is there. If you know anything about it, the APK is the binary format for Android. So when I show you this in class, I'll actually show you that this will run on my local machine. Alright, let's go back to Dreamweaver real quickly, and I'm just going to, I should have left it open. That's good, it came back to the file that I wanted. Just to show you how the app works here. And we'll launch this in Firefox. I usually use Chrome when I'm working. So here's our Hot Mother game. And this actually should work pretty well on a small form factor device. So basically it's ready to go. I can take a hint here, meaning to go to bed. I have no idea what the Norse word for that is. I'll start guessing some letters. Okay, how about nope. Okay, I think there's probably an F character in there. Nope. Let's see. So rec, let's see, I've tried the F already. How about a T? Dope. Alright, so looks like I'm about to lose, but I'll just give up. And Rekia, to go to bed. Okay. So that was a J, that last character. And then I've got a little about here that pops up, talks about the game. So that's it pretty much. You can notice now that I've removed the HTML5 badge. So I'm actually running the app that as in the web browser, which will now be a full-blown native app on my Android. Okay. Alright, that's just a quick introduction, but that should be enough for you to compile at least one of your applications that we did this quarter to get it to work on a mobile device. So this is a really wonderful technology. Alright, take care.